Today we are checking out I'm Making a Monster. The devs reached out to me for the non-binary coded games event. This game does have content warnings. I will list them below in the description. Please read before you continue the rest of the video. I'm really excited to check this demo out. The art style looks absolutely beautiful and I'm just blown away by the way it looks. Oh, we can... Sure, we'll keep that name. A Fierce Sonnet. The year leading up to it was much like any other. The moments loop in Ophir's mind, ceaseless and rough as river rapids. If they had known. If they had known, yeah. Ophir's at the beach. They're guarding the spot Delaney claimed when she grabbed snacks. Don't move an inch, she'd said. Ophir considers the blowing sands lifted by the chilly breeze coming off the water, then looks up to the clear sky. They wish they'd brought a book. They shiver lightly. Summer wasn't supposed to be so cold. Yeah, I'll wait. Ophir lies back and closes their eyes. Why not let themselves be pampered for once? Could they have shared more time together? Ophir reclines against the park bench. Delaney left to use the bathroom, and Ophir's been conjuring small flames above their fingers to pass the time and keep the autumn chill at bay. The bench is hard and its seat awkwardly angled. Ophir shifts uncomfortably. They notice some movement in the corner of their eye and turn to see a sausage vendor. A sign proclaims the sale of homemade apple cider. Go get apple cider. Ophir gets up and stretches their arms up, loosening the stiffness inflicted by the bench. Delaney probably likes apple cider, but really any excuse to leave the bench is a good one. The line at the cart is short. After a few minutes, Ophir returns to the bench holding 2 steaming paper cups. Delaney is back and is standing rather than confronting the bench. Ophir smiles and hurries over. Could they have stopped it? It's New Year's Eve and Ophir's at Abella's. They're chatting with Max about their new job. Corey comes by with champagne flutes. I don't know what Delaney is doing in the kitchen, but she said to disturb her at your peril. Max laughs and takes the proffered glass. We'll need to take a look then. Agree with Max and storm the kitchen. Ophir grins. Absolutely. Max begins to run for the kitchen. Sneak over instead. Wait, we need to maintain this element of surprise if we don't want to be cursed. Max pauses. Good point. As they approach, Ophir notices a distortion around the doorway. She's warded it. Can you break it? Yes. What do you make me for? Give me a candle and 5 minutes time and this ward is gone. On it. Max gives a mock salute and runs off. The kitchen door unlocks with a soft pop. Ophir and Max look at each other before Max grins and pushes it open. Delaney is standing in the middle of the room, hands covered in glitter, raising an unimpressed eyebrow. Why am I not surprised? Ophir laughs. You were goading Max. I just came to help with the wards. She smiles back. Maybe I was. Max is over by the cauldron on Bella's stove. What is this? Ophir takes a deep breath, scenting berries and ozone. You didn't. I did, she says. And since you're barging in, neither of you are getting any. It's a memory spell, Ophir explains to Max, who hadn't studied potions. One of friendship. It reminds of good times now past and solidifies the night you drink for you to cherish. It's a lot of work. That's so sweet, Delaney. Too bad you both won't be partaking of them. She sniffs, but Ophir is still smiling. They know that this time Delaney doesn't mean it. Ophir was right. Delaney begrudgingly shares her potion. What follows is a night of reminiscence and wonder. It's a night that will stay with all of them for a very long time. There's fresh tulips on the windowsill. Delaney brought them over. She'd said that they were the first blooms of the year. She left a few minutes ago, and Ophir is cleaning up the dishes from their shared lunch. They had bickered. Amicably over lunch, Delaney pestering Ophir about their love of bad movies, and Ophir calling out her love of other equally bad movies. The room feels emptier now that she's gone. Call her. Ophir picks up the phone and rings Delaney. She picks up after a few seconds longer than usual. Sorry, I couldn't find my headphones. What's up? I was just thinking of you and wanted to chat a bit longer. She laughs. You're seeing me on Thursday. The two chat for the rest of her trip home. They discuss an album release, a controversial new toy line, and the merits of different flowers in strength-increasing potions. But Thursday never comes. Ophir won't see Delaney again. There are many monsters in our stories. Some come from folklore and seek to tempt, harm, or devour. Others come from history. They've already tempted, harmed, and devoured. Stories. All the stories are true, but to a degree which may vary. And like all stories, this one is true in all the ways that matter. It's a story with a villain who tempts and harms and devours. All monsters leave scars upon us, though the scars themselves vary. And these scars sometimes birth their own monsters. Monsters born of our skin, of our pain, of our isolation. Scars are raw or scabbed or healed, somewhat independent of time. Depth has more to do with it than freshness. The scars that run deep can cut more than anyone might realize. Ophir's sonnet has a raw and ugly scar. It itches and bleeds their soul. No matter how they howl, it will not cease its scratching. Ophir has been shut in their room for a month. They have not eaten a proper meal in more than a week. They've only drunk water under extreme duress. Today, Ophir opens the door to their room of their own volition, a rare occurrence their friend will be equally excited and nervous about, and stumbles from its dark depths with a dehydrated wobble to their step. Fumbling for some scrap paper and tearing off the lid to a pen, Ophir drops onto a stool and begins to sketch. Fervor and ink splatter onto the page after page in unsteady strokes. After hours, during which friends come over and find Ophir, are relieved to see them out of their room, and then distraught again to find Ophir unable to tear themselves from work. Ophir holds up a final page of formulas and diagrams. Yes, they say, it can be done. Ophir almost bounces up from the stool, but they lack the energy or coordination. Instead, they settle for lifting the page up, beaming at their work. What can be done? Ophir jumps at this sound, almost falling over in the process. They had not noticed that a friend had crept into their kitchen while they worked. Abella leans out from the doorway, mixing bowl in hand, trying to hide her worry behind a smile. Ophir does not try to hide their rising excitement. "Oh, Abella," they say, "I'm going to make something unlike anything I've made before." Abella continues stirring, waiting. She has played this game before. "I'm making," Ophir continues, "something beautiful." Abella raises an eyebrow. "I'm making a monster." Oh my gosh, that was so good. That was really beautiful. And these dogs are perfect. Wow. Okay, I want to thank the devs again. This is really beautifully done, and I look forward to seeing the full game.